Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gathering of Gachas, the only podcast that focuses exclusively on the games your parents don't want you to play. I'm Galen, the SoundGuy Firestone.
And here's Ryan, the RyBred, back temporarily.
Woo! And I'm Ranakel. Still there.
Still there. Brian, I hope it's not that temporary. Oh, God.
Funny thing about that, I have a air horn I got just for you return, but at the time of recording, two people in my house are sleeping and I don't want to air horn them.
Ah, yes.
But the heart was in it.
Yes.
God, it's
my button is
spreading.
still at work, which I can't go in the office right now. I am working from home. So fun. Or else I would have brought it today.
Indeed. Ryan, it is good to have you back. We have missed you.
Yeah, it's nice to get back. You know, I've been missing it, but I've been super busy until all of this stuff started going down, which now I am not working on the weekends right now because that was my side job. And I just finished school for the quarter, so I have a week off until I start spring quarter.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So now you can spend literally all of your time playing War of the Visions, apparently.
Pretty much, yeah. I've been playing War of the Visions. Yesterday was basically I wrote the review of War of the Visions. I played it, and then I played a little bit of I played a little 13.3. I'm trying to get through that before the remake comes out of FF7.
Oh, that's assuming it ever comes out. That's actually right around the corner.
Oh, cool. It's coming for once, and I just got the confirmation from Square
I will
Enix.
believe it when I see it on shelves. Until then, it doesn't exist.
All right. Well, what if I get it in the mail? Because I will probably get it shipped to me prior to it being shelved due to these.
Yeah, and apparently some copies already broke street date.
Yeah, apparently Australia got FF7 early. Suddenly, this is an FF7 podcast.
Yeah. But you can't actually play it until... Right? I mean, can you throw it in your system and won't it not work until the release date is what I usually hear? I've never had anything like that happen to me.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I literally don't know. With the modern day, everything online sort of consoles, it's really hard to tell. Then again, if they break street date, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But Square Enix says I'll get mine on time, so...
Well, there you go.
If I get it late, I don't really care that much.
I'm getting it digital, so I'll absolutely get it on time. I don't do physical anymore. Not since someone stole my copy of Super Mario Odyssey.
Dang.
By the way, hi to future Galen that's going to edit this part out.
I'm not 100% sure I will. This is Ryan's grand return.
And that will make it even more funny.
Yeah. Hey, that's cool. Well, so maybe we will start talking about some gachas then. All right. So FFBE stuff is going on, and we have is this our first anime collaboration we get? If I'm thinking right.
It is. Oh, we're doing this again. Oh, we talked about this last week, and I was so angry, and I'm still angry, but now I'm angry about other things.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird choice.
Let's stick to what we have in game.
Correct.
Right.
So,
exactly.
What we have in game is two very good units, as it turns out.
Right. Yeah. We apparently got them way earlier than the Japanese version, and they weren't changed or anything, so they're pretty powerful. I hear actually now, Ed is still a top chainer.
Yeah, he is the top damage dealer at the moment. Well, top chainer, you're right.
Ah, nice. Yeah, and then we have Alphonse, which he's the character I actually really like, but I have plenty of tanks right now.
I mean, you were the tank guy. They loved you.
Yeah, they do really. Tanks really like me, so I'm surprised I actually haven't just pulled one. Even though I went hard on the FF10-2 banner just because I wanted to pull. I hadn't in a while, and I had a bunch of freaking resources, so I just blew it all.
I see you have a pain in your friend list.
Yeah, I actually have all three of them up right now. I 7-starred all of them. I was able to because I had that much, and I got really lucky too. Well, the banners was really, what do you call it? Really generous. You know, I mean, you go through the step up, you could choose, and then that other step up, all you have to do is go through once, and you can get a prism. So yeah, I actually am one away from STMRs on Pain and Riku, and I have unit 7-star. So interesting.
Very nice.
Yeah.
10-2 liked you. Very nice.
Yeah, it was interesting. I at that, and they're pretty cool. Their synergy is decent. It's not the best.
Yeah, all three are absolute mirror of equity chainers.
Yeah, and actually, one thing you can do, because Yuna's attack stats are so ridiculous in her true double hand, you can actually throw on and equip whatever weapon, and she can actually basically equip anything. So I beat one trial. I threw on equip large sword, and then I threw a light weapon on her, so that she could chain with pain pretty well.
Yeah,
all right,
interesting.
If you want to really max her attack, throw on an equipped spear, and then you can use that one. I think it's 190 attack spear or something. I forget what it's called. Random tips from RyBred.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm all about wacky builds.
I've actually heard that Edward is very good with spears too, which he can naturally equip.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, he can equip daggers, swords, spears, and fists, of course.
Yeah, of course. Of course, his fist. Nice.
Yeah. So to cover him a bit more in detail, let's start with the items. TMR is 28 attack cloves with 42 defense, 32 spirits. And that's exactly what it is for other characters, meaning it's bad. But for Edward himself, he has also a 20% fire, water, wind, and earth resist, meaning it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty decent. I mean, in terms of the resistances, a lot of times we need those, and we can sacrifice a little attack, and it doesn't really make him sacrifice much. I mean, it's not the best, but
it's the average attack on a clove. It's basically the attack value of Hio's cloves.
Yeah, it's actually... Yeah, it's TMR value. It's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's good for the... It's definitely good for the... as you said, it's good for the resistances, which are always helpful.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you need more resistances in your life, how about 60% of them?
Wait, how do you get that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You just need 4 of Edwards, or 1 Edward, and then you Omniprism in, and then you STMR Mogul him. Because we can do that now. But his STMR is 50% attack and defense, which is already very solid because we're capping easily attacks, so having defensive stats spilling over is good.
Yes.
And then 60% for fire, water, wind, and earth, the classical elements.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous when it comes down to it, especially if you're going to use it on him and throw his clothes on. Wow.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that never will show up in best in slot builds, but you will always equip in 95% of the trials.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's pretty good. It almost makes you want to pull for him, almost. People that don't,
Well, I would never pull for him particularly, but Alphonse would be cool.
Yeah. And as far as his kit goes, so he has the ability to imbue, imperil, and deal direct damage in, of course, the same 4 elements: fire, water, wind, and earth.
Right.
Yeah.
He has Stardust Way chaining frames for all of them.
Which is basically everybody nowadays. Most of the top damage dealers, that is.
And in particular, having him being an excellent Earth Chainer with Stardust Way frames is very good for Madame owners.
I didn't even think of that because I don't have her, so I haven't checked her kit very much, but that's really good.
Well, she gets a free weapon that gives her... super high earth attack, so...
Right.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I need to do those quests. I haven't.
I managed to successfully get the rare modifier on Beloved Idol too. So that's instant 100% attack on a weapon.
Wow. So she's pretty capped, I'm assuming yours is. Actually, I've seen yours, and she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your friend list. Yeah, I remember my last episode, you were prepping for her to come out, and sure enough, you got your idol.
Indeed, and I got her STMR and everything. It was a pretty good time.
Nice.
Between her and Shantoto.
Nice.
Back to Edward now. His main attack, once you've imbued him, is Automail Blade, which is a one-time modifier for the charge-up hits, finishing in a 7.5 time modifier with 50% ignore defense, and that you can raise with another skill that's available on turn 1.
Yes.
So that's some just straightforward solid punch. You don't need 75,000 turns to charge him up.
Yeah, real easy to use.
Yeah, easy to use. Lots of elements. Triple cast. And some defense and spirit breaks on his LB for good measure.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Defense spirit. That's, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. You don't want to rely on that, but hey,
exactly,
not bad. I'll take it.
So he's not really fancy, but he does the job exceptional well.
Right. Yeah, and he will be good for a very long time. So if you do decide to pull, then you're gonna get a good unit.
Yeah,
and the step up's relatively good too, because of the fact that you get to choose which of the two you want. If you do the 25,000, you get that ticket in the end. Which,
the 25,000 is exactly the same as any other banner, which is good.
Right.
The only difference is that for the 12,000 step up, you need 80 currency, which is 2 laps to have a prism instead of just 1 normally.
Yeah, that kind of got me there. I was like, because I was a little bit tempted to go through that 12,000 just for the fact that the units are decent. But that you have to do 2, not too into that.
Well, personally, my last tanks for physical damage, I've been using our Wilhelm still. And more recently, I discovered the joy of Aloha as well. But he's only really good for evade tanking.
Yeah, he is a master at evade tanking, but he doesn't really have a whole lot else going for him.
And Alphonse is exactly the opposite, where he's not great at evade tanking, but he's amazing when it comes to pure chunk. So I went for him with what little resources I had left after everything, the Omniprism, all of that. And I've got one of him so far.
Oh.
So I'm still going to see if I can complete a lap or something to get another one, and if not, I'm going to Omniprism him.
Nice.
I mean,
because I've seen someone in my friends list with 36,000 HP, and I want that.
I understand.
Wow, that's crazy. Now that makes me want him even more. That's crazy.
Yeah. So when it comes to what he has for as items, his TMR is 40% attack and defense.
So, I kind of noticed that it's 40% attack defense, but maybe I'm seeing this wrong, but I don't see a lot of attack moves for him that are like good.
Yeah, I have no idea why he has attack. It's great for a counter tank, like say Elfrida,
or but my boy Demon Rain.
Or your boy Demon Rain, but we haven't had any of those since Elfrida and Demon Rain.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool for some time, but it's not great right now.
It's weird. I wouldn't chase him for that.
No.
His STMR, though, is certainly exactly the kind of STMR we're going to find in best in slot lists.
Right. Yeah,
because
that thing is ridiculous.
Just world defensive stat is an accessory with 3 LB per turn, which is
3
nice.
LB per turn is rude. That is awesome.
Wow, I didn't notice it was 3. I didn't really look into the details on that. I just saw the fill gauge. Wow, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
But it's mostly about the 60 base defense and spirit on an accessory.
Yeah. Like, whoa. Both? Like, dang. Because we have a few spirit 60s. I don't know if there's any defense 60s, but both? Like, dang.
Yeah, usually you see, like, Mage Spirit as the combo.
Like, with that, you can make some, like, crazy builds because I mean it's pretty easy to get some tanks like Warrior of Light and Cecil like over 1,000 in both stats. Like I'm just thinking about like now like using Cecil as like a magic and draw attacks tank with that. Like whoa.
Yeah, and besides, if you don't have any specific element to gear to like 300% resistance, I always have a hard time figuring out what to put in my tank's accessory slots. Know that both accessory slots aren't forcibly either Ring of Lucia or the Rico STMR.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're not used to that. So you've used evade tanks for a while, I'm assuming, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It's either evade tanks or I did use Bash for a while. Didn't build him as evade.
Right.
But eventually that meant he died.
Yeah, when you're dealing with raw stats, Bosch unfortunately can't keep up at this juncture.
Yeah, and I still used him as a magic tank until he died, and more relevantly, until I got Charlotte. And then I did my best to use strategies that either used an evade tank or no physical tank at all.
Okay. Yeah, I as we all know, I'm going to keep saying this, I stopped playing a while ago, not too long after I got Charlotte, but I do definitely I was watching as my man Mercenary Ramza was starting to kind of fall off, and then I had Lilith, of course.
Right.
Yeah, it was getting hard.
Don't tell that to the Global Original podcast, though. They have a die-hard Mercenary Ramza fan there.
I am a diehard Mercenary Ramza fan, but his stats were just starting to fall off. Power creep is a thing. Yeah, I loved that guy. I was singing his praises from the second he got his enhancements.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
In one night with Global Original upgrades, I went from having a troll rainbow to an MVP.
Right?
Speaking of MVP, regarding Alphonse's kit.
Okay.
He still started sway chaining, meaning that he can chain with his brother, of course.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and he can definitely do that in his off turns. And even in his on turns, because aside from turn 1, where he can indeed just cast a cover and that's it, then he unlocks his ability to double cast. And that includes his cover. So turn 1 is standard turn 1 for tank. Then it gets fun with self-applying barriers on literally every one of his skills.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Including his chains and his cover.
Nice. Yeah. I hear that his one weakness that people would say is that he is considered selfish.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any sort of support whatsoever. It's just self-barriers. The wall must stand, and if the wall crumbles, the city crumbles.
Yeah, but he's a pretty big chunk, though, so...
Aside, of course, from his LB, which is the 50% mitigation, any tank needs to be viable these days. Unless you're using wedges that you support. And 4,000 barrier for all allies.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
And if you have his STMR, it might fill up decently fast, maybe.
Very fast, because the LB only costs 22 crisps.
That is really cheap for an LB like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
what the heck?
You're making me want to pull him even more. And I've been using Warrior of Light, but I'm not the biggest Warrior of Light fan, to be honest. I mean, he's a cool character. He's not that cool.
He's a character class that's been told you have a personality now. And what is it? He asked. But nothing but the echo of his own voice answered.
I still miss, like, the dumb fighter who got mixed up between the armor and the armoire of invincibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have much preferred that Warrior of Light. But I Warrior of Light has bothered me, not as much as Onion Knight, but he has bothered me just because he isn't an actual person.
Yeah, that's just so weird. And then seeing them like in the Dissidia games, like, what's up, Warrior of Light? Like,
you don't call them that. Like, it's even silly in Final Fantasy XIV where there's literally just a title.
Yeah.
But of course they can't actually use your name in voiced scenes, so they have to use the sobriquet.
Yeah, but that's different.
It's like in a casual conversation. How are you doing, Ryan? SoundGuy.
Yeah. Weird. But oh well.
Yeah.
I digress. Anyway.
So yeah, I've never had much particular love for Warrior of Light as a character, but I do recognize how good of a tank he is.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I use him.
Now we have Alphonse, who, again, him I wouldn't mind getting if it didn't mean I had a chance of getting Edward as well, which is something I refuse to tolerate.
Of course.
Yeah. So speaking of Edward and getting Edward, daily 10 summons.
Yay!
Yeah. Sure didn't get an Edward in those, but I did have some luck. Well, 2 rainbows total, which were a fifth of a unit I already had, and like third of one I didn't need the STMR for. Like, I think third Wedges, and yes, STMR is a useless sword with like 20% MP.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah, but not very good.
No.
Yeah.
It's good for attribute missions if you haven't already done those, and that is about it.
Yeah. Well, I finally got my first rainbow on today's, and it was Edward.
Well,
characters. Yeah, I don't know why, and I had a weird feeling that I would pull one of them too on the things, but obviously I was hoping it would be Alphonse, and yeah, it's just the game trying to suck me in because I don't really have resources to pull. So
I mean,
but I'm not giving in. I'm not.
Yeah.
Even though I want and I would rather have Alphonse instead. I mean, maybe if it was him, I might, but no. Ed can go away. He'll just and I know he's a good character, and it's tempting to Omniprism him too, but no, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Speaking of Omniprism 2, we had something that happened, and I quote the news, at popular demand, which is an air quotes extension of the Omniprism purchase window, because the Omniprism was there, and it was supposed to end when the collab event started.
Right.
Then they decided, you know what, we're going to put it this week as well. And it's a new bundle, technically, meaning that you can purchase 2 Omniprism if you have the resources for it.
Right. Yeah, and I actually didn't get the first one just because I was going hard on the 10-2 banner. But with all the expert missions, the world reset, the story, and I still had some series boss battles to do. I actually farmed enough to grab it that second time. I missed it the first, couldn't pass it up the second. So boom.
Yeah, and it's a very good bundle, as we said.
Yeah.
Even if you don't use him. Even if you don't use it for Edward this day, having an Omniprism to sleep on is pretty comfy.
Oh, yeah. I would rather just sleep on it, because I'm sure there'll be something cooler than Ed coming out, who's just another boring damage dealer. And I just got all these cool other ones anyway, so...
And we'll know from the Exvius updates video that we'll have a collab next month.
Right.
Maybe several. They did say collabs.
Oh, boy.
Somebody told me they said it was going to start with an S or something. I don't know if that's true. I was like, where did you hear that? He's like, I don't remember, but I think it was in the video, and I didn't watch the video this time.
Nope, I didn't hear that in the video.
Interesting.
So it's a wait-and-see situation. But more Omniprisms is good. Unfortunately, don't have the resources to go for this one.
Right. Yeah. Did you get the first one?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah. Well, one's enough for now.
Exactly.
Wisely. Yeah. Nice.
I'm not feeling too bad about it. And besides, it's not like I can really get that much more lapis because I finished the story, including the latest chapter.
Ah, okay, nice. Yeah, I still have the news chapter to do.
It helps that this week is a farm event that I'm not going to do until the last 2 days, where all the instances are there at the same time, and I read event that only costs red orbs. So I finished the story with all that stamina that had no other use, and then got Gil.
Okay.
Because Gil is good.
Yes, Gil is very
Especially with the expert missions coming.
Yes.
And once again, they give us a Gilgamesh that doesn't play Battle on the Big Bridge, and I'm just like, what does Gumi have against Big Bridge?
maybe they can't get the rights to it. I don't know.
They've played it for the FF5 event, and for when you fight, and when you fight that version of Gilgamesh in the Type 0 crossover.
Ooh, yeah,
they have the rights, clearly, obviously.
Yeah. So are we talking about War of the Visions Gilgamesh?
I mean, again, my point is that's the weirdest version of Gilgamesh I've ever seen. What does he have to do with the standard Final Fantasy model of Gilgamesh? He's not even red.
Yeah. Hey, he's cool though. He looks cool, but
he is. And now then, one last thing about the event is a reward you get from some of the missions you have specific for the event, which are tickets, which are normal 3-star tickets, but you can only spend them on the banner for the current event.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. I kind of like that idea. I'm a fan.
Certainly better than an EX ticket.
Oh yeah, so much better than an EX ticket. I didn't get anything good from it, but I mean, I can appreciate it for sure. The fact that, especially that it's a temporary event. The units are temporary, so it gives you a slightly more chance of grabbing one of them.
Exactly, that's a big factor. And at the same time, there's this idea which is exactly what you're going through right now, which is between these tickets and this 10+1 pool and whatever free occasions you have, even if you're not going hard on that banner because it's a limited banner, you have a reasonable chance to pull one, and then you're like, should I go for the other? Should I go for this Omniprism? Should I get this unit after all?
Right. Yeah.
It's drawing you in.
Yeah, see, I think that's really the plan. They know that you're out of resources, so let's see if we can get you to just pull one of them, because one of them's not very useful.
Honestly, that's not even the most aggressive way to do this kind of things I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, and someone's questioning if there may even be a rate up on the 10 summons for these, because a lot of people have been posting that they've been pulling the units. I don't think there is, but who knows?
Wedges number 3 says no, but who knows?
Yeah. A few people in my Twitter group have actually gotten one of the units as well on that free 10 pull. So it is kind of weird, of all of the units you can get to get them. But, it's luck. It's RNG, just like pulling a collab unit as well with a EX ticket happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
given the way that doesn't really have anything exciting going on, I think we can go to the last 2 bits of FFBE news. First, very quickly, have you tried Kokuryu yet?
I somehow missed that piece of news. I didn't even know until I read this that he was a 3-star now.
Yeah,
so
he's a 3-star now.
Yeah, I'm interested in that because I like that Esper, but it was legit useless,
I mean,
when it came out.
It's kind of weird because ultimately this Esper exists because of a collab with a sake brand. So that's strange, but he's got a cool design and not a bad personality, so why not?
Why not indeed?
He's part of the team now.
Yeah, he's part of the crew. Yeah, that was pretty weird too. How it's like a season 1, Esper 2. So even though released like the end of originally at the end of season 2, you go back and now everyone's like in their old clothes again. Like, this is weird.
Yeah, it was added way after the fact too, because it's clearly designed like a season 2 Esper in terms of what it can do.
Right.
With the multi-element thing and the multi-specialty thing, but like
it's a strange one, but I haven't fought him yet. I'm still waiting and prepping. I probably tomorrow or the day after go after him and Anima.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. I haven't done Ashura yet either, and so maybe I'll try to take those two out.
I meant Asura, not Anima.
Ah, yes.
I would love to come back to. I wish there was a version of the game I could play where I could take on the bosses. I want to try some of these new bosses so badly.
Yeah, no. And like it's a fight I'm really looking forward to again.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I was waiting for really was to max out my Bahamut, which happened.
Oh,
so
nice.
now I can lag behind to grind for Anima and Kokuryu.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice. Sounds good to me.
And lastly, we have the ability awakenings for Crimson, Nagi, and Yego. Team unimportant season 2 characters.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, does any of these matter? But okay, let's hear it.
I'm wondering, is anybody going to enhance them, really? I mean, I've always liked Yego as a character, underrated character, but never actually to use.
I found Yego creepy, but I like the whole Marlboro Wider thing.
That's what I like.
Kind of am with Rana on this one. I'm not sure I cared really about any of these characters.
Yeah, Crimson was like, I don't know.
I don't understand why he was in base 5. He existed in the story for like 4 seconds and died.
Yeah, he was a really terrible character when it came down to it.
Yeah. Like, not much got accomplished there.
Yeah. So what does he do? Because I didn't even look at these awakenings. I have no interest in wasting resources, so I didn't even look. So tell us what we got here.
We have still his 2 chaining family, which are Divine Ruination and Absolute Mirror of Equity.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. DR. Boy, that's old.
And
I still use them sometimes.
And his new biggest base attack, which replaced a Spirit's buff, is Divine Ruination. With an auto chain cap and all the things that makes a good chaining move.
Okay.
Except the fact it's Divine Ruination, of course.
Hey, my Kingdom Hearts Sephiroth begs to differ. Although he usually uses BS.
I respect it. Now he's Self-Fire Imbue last 8 turns and also gives him Demon Killer.
Okay.
And Fire Resist.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah. His Ice Imbue does the same. It also gives him Demon Killer. And Ice Resist. Yeah.
Okay.
And in particular, one of his cooldowns, I believe. No, not even a cooldown, just a big old chunky Absolute of Equity move, which gives him 3 turns of 150% Demon Killer.
Oh. So he's now a decent character, it seems like, kind of, for demons at least.
Yeah, he has a niche. He has the 150% killer, meaning that he could reasonably find a use as a character Zon could steal the buff from to give to everyone, and in particular to better characters.
Right.
I feel like we talked about a character who did that last week as well.
Yeah, but it was for base killer, I think. In any case,
yeah, bringing a guy along just to steal their buff seems
I think it was Pain's Human Killer.
Right.
Yes. Pain's Human Killer. That's pretty good with their LB.
Yeah. And then he has his big turn 4 cooldowns, which are basically the same moves but bigger. And that increase the modifiers for the normal version of the move. But they're still only on the 4th turn. Increased stats, a bit of resistance, and increased STMR or TMR equip stat, which give him some immunities, and most importantly, permanent triple cast.
Okay. Permanent.
Okay. That's actually pretty darn good.
No, wait, never mind. The abilities are named the same, but no, it's only for 4 turns.
Okay. Well,
now
sure.
he's not as good. Nah.
Well, it makes sense because he has the 4 turns of triple cast at the beginning of the fight, and then you can use his cooldown to refresh the triple cast. And if he dies, he can resurrect and autocast the move that gives him the triple cast, so it's effectively permanent.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's permanency with extra step.
Kind of permanent.
What I find the most interesting, though, is that he has a lot of upgrading moves. His most expensive is only 500,000 gilds. None reach even 1 million.
That's not bad. They really want to try to make you use him, I guess.
Yeah,
Crimson fans.
It's more like if you're curious and want to try it, you're not that penalized for it. Yeah. Even if you're disappointed in the end. And that's the case for every characters on this list.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So let's move on to Nagi, which now is an actual true dual wield character with the 6-time chain cap.
Yeah.
Great.
So hers I was kind of interested in, because I have a decent amount of true dual wield gear, including her STMR.
The problem with her is that she's a Japanese originating hybrid character when Global completely changed the hybrid meta, so she was left behind right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And now her attacks are certainly better with modifiers that are not completely terrible.
Okay.
She also has a water bolting stride chain and an ice absolute zero chain.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, ice absolute zero. I can maybe get behind this.
Yeah, especially for a hybrid character.
Right. I actually might enhance her. I was on the fence about giving her an enhancement. I might do it. Okay.
She has 100% passives against demon, humans, and undead. Some more status ailment immunities.
Okay.
Her light and dark chains are still divine ruination, but now have 120% 5 turns break for that element.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah.
So I gotta be honest, her thing seems... Yeah, I gotta be honest, her thing seems to be like, here, have a bunch of different chain families so you can slot her into a lot of different strategies, and I have to admit
The problem is that to each chaining family is an element that's attached, and you can't change it.
Right. No, obviously that's not great, but...
So if you want to use light or dark, you're going to use divine ruination.
Okay.
But more still, passive stat.
She can have some she could fit in probably like decently in those like Chamber of the Vengeful where you just need a bunch of different units.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she has this cooldown that increases her modifiers even more. She has 40% evasion as well, which is always nice.
Ooh.
And overall, she's looking like she's at a level that isn't quite Aurora Freya, but with more adaptability in the chaining families and the element, she can be a decent partner for her, or for some other niche strategies.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, cool. Oh wow! I'm looking at this now. Actually, her TMR ability can be enhanced. I haven't seen that before.
Oh yeah, no, that's the case from Crimson too. That's the case for Yego too.
All right. So apparently TMR abilities, I mean, they're usually good passives.
Yeah.
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 And the enhanced ones are generally very good.
Okay.
And honestly, this is not a bad set of characters to enhance the TMR abilities of, because Crimson's TMR is kind of boring, but his STMR is real solid, especially for him.
Yeah. That's his sword, I want to say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's 175 attack, great sword with fire attached.
Yep.
Yeah, I am one away from his STMR. I've been for a while. I've got him off, I think, from like EX tickets or something, all off banner.
And I have him. Well, his STMR. Haven't used it, but I have it.
You'll use it one day. Yeah, one day.
If I get a great sword user, like if I get a second King Grain or something, I'll use it.
Yeah.
And Nagi's STMR is very good.
Oh, yeah.
The 40% attack magic and 50% attack magic through dual wield.
Yes, you cannot go wrong with that.
Real solid for tons of characters, even if it's not a hybrid character. Having 40% attack, 50% true dual wield.
Yeah, I basically throw it on any true dual wield character that I have.
And of course, Yego can only really work if you use her own STMR, which is the 170 attack whip.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's a physical whip user for some inexplicable reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was kind of dead on arrival.
Very much so. And that sure hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But hey, one of her passive gives her 30% more whip mastery. So you can even be more locked into whips.
Oh, great. Yeah.
No, but there's some other interesting things. For instance, her bad breath now gives her the ability to put a dot on an enemy that can't be dispelled. And that's a 15 times physical modifier for 5 turns.
That's pretty neat.
Okay. Yeah. Decent.
If you wanna go full Kaito, that's certainly one reason to do so. For some inexplicable reason, she's got some increased LB, even though her LB isn't that good.
Oh, why not? Yeah.
She has mostly defense on her TMR passive, including the ability for her guts to proc reliably, because it's a 100% proc and not an 80% proc now.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's good.
Oh, yeah, something vaguely useful. She has an imbue now.
Oh.
She didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was just... I didn't understand that either. Like, how do you not have an imbue?
Yeah, like, she specialized in earth damage, but didn't have an imbue. And her whip is non-elemental.
Yeah, so...
That is a big... Yeah, no, I'm glad she has an imbue now. Good for her. Good.
Yeah.
She needed that.
One of her cooldowns on 3 turns also deals dot damage. And now it's... Oh, and they fixed the chain. Apparently it was an 8-hit attack that wasn't Absolute Mirror of Equity, and they drew it back to make it Absolute Mirror of Equity.
Okay, good, because, yeah, she was... Now she's not completely useless, she's just a little useless.
Yeah, and as for random use ability, given the tone of a lot of other skills, which is let's fix her to make it a bit less useless and weird, well, they didn't for this one, because it's still random.
Okay.
But even more or less depending on what you want to do. It goes from an 80% chance to deal damage and a 10% chance to deal damage on elemental status or to break element resists, to now do either for 95% chance of putting up a dot and 5% chance of breaking 3 elements without damage.
What is that RNG nonsense?
I don't know, it's weird Marlboro stuff, I guess.
Weird Marlboro, yeah.
Weird Marlboro things, sure.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, so Yego, it looks like they had too much to scramble for, and I don't think I'm probably going to enhance her ever, especially since I haven't got 4 of her. I don't think I even got 2 of her, for that matter, but that's beside the point. But Nagi and Crimson look like they could be usable.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I guess that's less of a case of actively going for them, and more like, if you have them, go for it.
Yeah.
Especially if you are the one Crimson fan in the world.
Absolutely.
I respect your dedication.
Okay, so I fully enhanced my Nagi, and I gave her pots, no doors, and I have her capped out on magic attack, dual wield, and just regular percentage, and I got her to 2600 attack, 2800 attack, 2600 magic. So
that's pretty respectable.
And I have 1 materia slot open.
Yeah, that's the kind of numbers I see on an Aura Fryavia or an Elena.
Yeah,
that's pretty solid.
So it's not bad. So she's usable.
You know what? The little redhead that could. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
She's not my favorite. She remains not my favorite. But, hey, if you have her and want to use her, it seems like that is a pretty good play.
Nagi feels like a character that could be more than she was in the story.
Yeah, her part was not good.
Like, her crush is the king. What is she doing now?
Yeah, what is she doing now?
That's actually a really good question.
I know, right? But one that is not ours to answer.
Right.
So, anything else on FFBE?
Yeah, aren't we having some, bugs going on?
Oh, I've heard about this. I don't know. Do we need to talk about it, though?
Probably should.
The story loop bugs, right? People are getting stuck in the story cutscenes, if I'm remembering correctly. And they keep saying they fixed it, but they didn't.
That would explain why I feel like I've seen the same notification 4 times this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't faced the bug personally, but I don't know what it is with that.
Yeah, I haven't had issues either, but it's still kind of weird that they haven't fixed it for the people who it's happening to.
Yeah.
But that's all I know about that, so I can't say much on it, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems like a delicate matter, but... or maybe it's just that they have less ability to bug fix efficiently given the current situation. In the world, that is.
Oh, man.
And honestly, of course, if there's a choice between the reliability of the game we're all playing and the safety of the employees, safety first. Let's not be inhuman douches.
Yeah. I mean, I'd go out on a limb, though, too, and say they're probably working from home. I think we have done our usual fill of FFBE.
Sounds about right, except also kind of not, because there's another player in the FFBE verse. We got some War of the Visions going on. What the heck? It exists.
War of the Visions exists. Boy,
God,
does it
Ryan,
exist.
we're back, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. Me and Ren are playing it.
Yeah.
As are a large portion of my Discord community.
Yeah, I feel like your FFBE channel's been kind of revitalized because
I was about to
War of the Visions.
I was like about to reorganize the Discord and was like, all right, I can move FFBE down to Gacha because no one's kind of talking about this, but and then make an Arcanized channel, and then suddenly more of the visions happen and FFBE just goes crazy, and I'm like, well, all right.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a good reason for that, which is that it's a very solid game.
Yeah,
The specific. There's a lot to discuss in the specifics, but it's a solid video game.
Yeah,
I appreciate this.
Yeah. This is something that I talk about a lot in terms of what keeps me playing a mobile game, which are the three things are nostalgia, are the battles fun, and does it have a decent original story? And so far, it meets those three requirements, which no other game other than FFBE has met, which is why I don't stick with any of them for very long.
Fair enough.
And to talk about, let's say, the story to begin with, because that's what I have on my mind right now.
Right.
I was expecting things to be much more anime and much less Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're calling it War of the Visions, you're automatically going to draw a comparison to War of the Lions, so...
Oh, no, they are leaning on the Final Fantasy Tactics Ogre style game hard.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty it's kind of fresh, you know. I know it's when you think about that they're basically like just combined, like they're piecemealing a few different games together, but it's working.
Yeah, and the characterization in particular, I did not expect to enjoy it this much. But like for instance, we have the two characters that are on the front, which are Mont and Stern. And I thought this would be, oh yeah, they're going to be together and they're going to want to do the right thing, but in different ways and blah, blah, blah. And nope, they're separated deliberately for most of the story.
Right.
They have reasonable motivations given the informations they have. The main characters bond with another character, which is a complete mess and is treated as a complete mess.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't speak about characters I like without talking about Machery, which is very strange for me to say because it's as if there was a character that was named Sweetheart for you.
Yeah. I speak enough French to actually know that, and I'm like, that name seems dumb. Why is that a name? But
it is very dumb. And so I worried that the character would be very dumb, and instead it is my favorite character in the game as well. She is completely savage.
Yeah. I was going to ask you who your favorite character was so far, and that would have been my vote too. I've had to screenshot some of her dialogue because it's just ridiculous.
Okay, to give you an example of a scene, at a point, Mont has a bodyguard that decides to kill someone on her own, and Machery has a bodyguard that decides to kill someone on his own.
Right.
So Mont and Machery meet together, and they go, well, it seems like we both missing a bodyguard, so I guess I'll be your bodyguard now. Completely overturning his I'm going to be the knight that's going to protect the damsel. And she's like, nope, you stand behind me while I whack him with my white mage staff.
Yeah. And it's not even that simple too. What did she say? Yeah. He asked like if you're worried about it at one point, and she asked him, and he's like, well, yeah. And then he's like, oh, you're finally becoming a man then.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
I like her.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, she's hilarious. And Mont right now is just like, you can tell he's going to be developed because he's just a wimp.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
And the other characters call him out for being a wimp to the point where characters that never even met him in person know that he's a wet blanket.
Oh, that is an awful reputation to have. I am so sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. And know that that cool guy that actually a 5-star DPS and not a 4-star tank is the better swordsman of the two. everybody knows that, including the two characters in question.
Right.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, the story it starts off good, like right off the bat, and I'm getting some Game of Thrones vibes from this too. I got to be honest.
Yeah. I will say, however, at the point where I am, I haven't finished the story. We have 4 chapters currently. I'm at the beginning of chapter 3.
Oh wow! I actually just got past the scene we just talked about. So I'm still in scene 2, chapter 1. Probably towards the end of scene 2. No. I started scene 3. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm in the beginning of scene 3. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And to the point I am, the action hadn't had any time out. Basically, we've had 2 chapters of essentially one continuous event unfolding with no pause. Essentially, these 2 chapters last about 4 hours in the universe. So there's
that's
not
happening
really
real
a lot
quick.
of time to mature or anything. It's just war is happening right now.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And even in the presentation, like one of the simple marks that's also a big leaning on the Final Fantasy Tactics Ogre theme is the way where if you don't have the game on the faster speed or auto, sometimes when you cast a basic elemental spell, the character has a little invocation where they say, Ice, go and freeze them, Blizzard, which is the same thing that happened in Final Fantasy. And I see Galen completely smiling because that makes him happy. And that made me happy too.
Yes. I love it. I mean, they basically, they took tactics, they took loosely the world of FFBE, and then they took, a lot of people were saying the whole system is like a reskin of Alchemist code, and they just combined these games together.
But with things like the characters that faint and they have a countdown from 3 turns to 0, and only then do the corpse disappear.
Which is good that unlike tactics, you don't lose them forever. Somebody asked
that would be unforgivable in a gacha game.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Imagine blowing like a couple $100 to like really chase this character. Freaking disappear.
Geister in chat is saying, I think Galen could enjoy the game and story. I totally believe I would. Unfortunately, it's a self-control thing. I know I'd get caught into it. I
100% believe this is not a game for you because of things to talk about later.
Yeah.
Right.
Do not touch this game, even if the story is very good.
Yeah. I have no choice. I'm sorry. I would love to play it. Believe me. I could use another tactics in my life right now.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. You know what we should... you know what would be funny? Somebody should just like... because you can go back through all the cutscenes. Somebody should just like stream them for Galen one day. Just like, so you can watch it as like a cinematic.
I'm good with that plan.
That'd be a plan, yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing some of the battles either.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I actually changed the dialogue to Japanese, the voice acting, and I really liked it. I know Galen will all be sad about that because most of the voice actors,
honestly,
but I love it.
The English voice acting is very solid.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
I know several of the actors as well.
It's certainly no thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, help me out here. Where is this feeder meme from? Because I've never heard that said.
It comes from the trailer for Season 3.
Great.
For FFBE.
What am I missing here?
Oh, you don't know either. Then we're going to mark a pause, and I'm going to type on my keyboard.
Okay, let's see it.
Okay, and then I'm going to post a 1 minute 30 seconds video.
Do I have to watch the trailer? But
it's in the podcast observation channel.
I see the trailer, but okay, let's see.
That's where the words are.
Yes.
All right, let me take a look at this.
Cower in fear.
And by the way, the words are pronounced as part of the story early in Season 3, but not with the voice acting.
Is it weird that I totally love this girl's mask?
Which one?
Murmur? The one you posted? That, half mask is pretty dope.
The one Kate posted, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Coffee! That half mask is really cool looking. I don't know why I like that so much.
It actually reminds me a bit of the mask Shiro II wears in Valkyrie Anatomia.
I never got that far.
What is up with this? Oh, Feener. What is up with this voice actor?
I know, right?
I'm sorry, but it's terrible. Feener.
Now you get it.
What the?
Now you have experienced the finer pleasures in life.
Who proved it? Nobody told her?
Who did?
Tell her?
It's the same.
Well, that's canon now. Her name is pronounced Feener.
Exactly. It's the same company that wrote about Alexander that approved it.
Didn't they also pronounce the character's name really weird? Ayaka, they pronounced it like papaya one day. Remember?
Wait, but that's a Japanese name. You'd think Japanese people would be good at pronouncing Japanese names.
Papaya. There's not even a P in Ayaka.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to it, please. We're getting really off topic.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, back to it. So we so far we've been gushing about the game.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see the other side of the coin because there's no game that's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, first I'd like to talk about some element of the gameplay itself.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Because I think there's an interesting part of balance. First, one thing that immediately reassured me is that characters can have a lot of skills, which I strictly believe is pretty much one of the only ways to have battle systems that can have depths and high-level content.
Right.
Every character has their attacks and their support abilities, and they're on a different tracker. Basically, each character has, I think it's TP and AP or something like that.
Right, yeah. And the AP is basically... It's for the most part full at the start of battle, which is mostly for kind of stat boosting stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, supportive ability, your self buffs, your haste. Also some other utility stuff, even if it's more offensive, like immobilize.
Right.
Other statistic buff. So you start with it full, and there's little to no means to refill it. And then there's the TP, which starts empty-ish. There's characters that are better than others at filling it early on.
Right.
Cough, Medina, cough.
Yeah, I hear Medina's ridiculously good.
And you use it for offensive spells and the limit break.
Right.
So... yeah, there's this balance like that where you have the ability to refill and buff early on, and then you have to maintain a steady amount of attack with either buff usage or directly by using your basic attack on monsters to get this TP and use your big abilities.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I like the system, especially that then we have the jobs and the sub job classes too that you can kind of go for as you level up. And
there's 50 different ways to improve a character. You can awaken them, you can limit break them, you can improve each of the abilities individually, you can unlock each of their 3 jobs individually,
right,
and then equip a job and a sub job with separate different passives and counter abilities. Then you have to equip them, then increase the proficiency of the equipment, then increase the equipment, which is a whole of a labyrinth in itself.
I'm
so
hearing a lot of steps.
Yeah. So that's the one weird thing to me. And this is where the game can kind of run into some issues, is that the grind is real here. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in terms of how to actually power up your character.
That game is a drain on your real time if you're not paying attention.
Ooh,
right.
I've had afternoon when without even paying much attention to the game itself, just decide I'm going to farm. It's 2 p.m. I'm going to start farming, and I'm going to stop farming only when the battery of my phone is running at 20%.
Right.
Because that's the level of farm we are now.
Wow.
Of course, there's a bit of a... Well, it's the game's launch, and it's only been out for, at point of recording, 3-4 days, something like that.
Right.
So it's going to settle down on some aspects. Most characters' levels are going to be maxed out, and the roadblocks will be somewhere else. But for now, it is a scramble.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. And I wonder how much it's going to get better, how slowly it's going to get easier. Because the fact that you have to take so long to power up a character, if they don't improve it, it's going to affect how people pull. I mean, if I spent so much time to max out a character, I don't care how much the next guy that comes out that I want is, I'm not going to get him.
Yeah, no, this is 100% a game where you do not impulse pull, because if you get the character, but you don't get duplicates to get their charts to limit break them, and if they are a limited character, this is a useless character in your party, period.
Right.
Yikes.
Yeah. One of the big ways to power them up is, like you mentioned, duplicates. And it's not like 7-star FFBE where you get one duplicate and you're good. No.
Basically, characters, when you pull a duplicate, you have 40 shots for them. Well, 40 for a 6-star. It's less for characters you can see more often. Well, I'm saying 6-star, it's the equivalent of 6-star. It's ultra rares.
Right.
So you need to limit break them to increase the level cap and unlock some things like the second and third job. For this, you need some materials, and most importantly, you need those shards, which start at 40 to get the first limit break, and then it's 80, then 120, etc. Basically, you need 500 of those to get a character fully leveled.
500 shards.
Yeah.
And you get 40 with a duplicate.
Yeah, and some characters are usable without being fully limit broken.
Right.
But then you don't get their TMR, because you get a character stress mastery when they are fully awoken, which is through farmable ingredients, and fully limit broken, which is mostly through those shards. You get through duplicates and through the... well, there's 2 other main methods to gain shards. Well, 3 now that I think of it. So you can also get them through Chocobo expeditions. You select an element, and you can get 1 shard every now and then from a character of the elements you're going on an expedition for.
1 shard every now and then.
Yeah. You also have unlockable missions for shards, which you unlock through going through the main story, and then you can get a mission that costs a fair amount of stamina to perform, and you can only perform it 3 per day, and you can only perform 10 of them per day, no matter who it is. But you get guaranteed shards from those.
Yeah. So it's possible, to only pull 1. It's just going to take you a really, 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 really ... really long time.
If they're not a limited unit. If they're limited, you're out of luck.
Wait. So if they're limited, does that mean there's never going to be any kind of farming for them?
Well, there's the suggestion that even limited units may return, but we don't have any guarantee yet, and they've already started changing things for global, so we don't know.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, and the third and probably most reliable way to get shards for a character is the shop.
Oh, yeah, the shop.
Yeah, some limited characters, like for now, Y'shtola has some shards that occasionally pop up and that you can get with guilds, which you can farm.
Right.
And other times is through Visio, which is the main premium currency.
Yeah,
Well,
premium currency.
Ish.
Okay.
Okay, should we poke at the elephant in the room right away?
Yeah, please define ish.
Yeah, let's just do this.
Okay, so the game gives you a lot of Visio. You get some from meeting new people in multiplayer, for clearing missions, for logging in, for doing events. You get a lot of Visio.
Yeah.
But there's a fair amount of shop items which are only purchasable through paid Visio.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Which you get only through the cash bundles and direct purchases, things like that.
Yes. So there's a decent amount of paid stuff you can only do, including I was sad. I was about to do a little 2000 guaranteed UR summon. Oh, it's a paid summon only.
And it's strange because they've marked very well a paid Visio for every other event, but that one 2000 paid Visio banner is very badly indicated that it's paid only.
Yeah, it is. It's really not obvious until you go to try to pull.
So that sucks.
That is not great. I hate paywall banners.
Yeah. As of now, I mean, comparing it to like Last Claudia, it doesn't seem quite as bad in terms of, the requirements for it. Like the paid stuff's not terrible. It seems like you can do a lot without it.
All right, let's hear Rana's hot take.
It would have been better if instead of calling it paid Visio, they just made a third premium currency and named it something else.
Okay.
This way, it clearly would have distinguished the direct cash bundles and cash banner from the other elements, which are clearly not on the same track. It's like it's Visio and, I don't know, Magic Emeralds.
Right. So you're saying that if that were the case, if they just called it something else, you wouldn't really mind?
It's not that I wouldn't really mind, it's that I would have appreciated the clarity of having
that way you
basically the paid stuff and the free stuff be literally on completely different realms.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what it is for a lot of players.
I'm with Rana on this one. I feel like that would probably be like at least a communication and clarity improvement, and we're never going to see that because here's the reality of these games. They're designed to confuse you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
And to draw you,
and you're thinking about it. I mean, not gonna lie, I was like, well, paid. Let's actually take a look. I don't plan on spending money, so I went to the shop. I looked. No, I'm not paying for anything. But I thought about it because I had gotten my hopes up.
Yeah, and I bet another moment where you thought about it was when you saw the 10+1. Just 10 pool tickets for 60 paid Visio, which is like $1.
Oh yeah. All right, I folded on that. I bought that. Yeah. it was $1.
I did too. That's why I got my fill up.
I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if
they
got
know
anything
exactly what they were doing with this one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's $1. But then they're already sinking their teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I plan not to spend on this game, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and compare it to Arknights because that's what I do for everything these days.
Yeah.
I paid my $1 in Arknights. I paid my $5 for my monthly cards. I think I'm getting on my third monthly pretty soon. I have not ever felt the need. Like, there has never been any, like, hard paywall stuff. It's really ridiculous and silly how... I don't know. I hate
like,
paywalling to death. I bail from games the second I see a paywall like that. You paywall banners, I am out. So,
no, and there walls in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Like, occasionally, well, the shop refreshes every 6 hours and has random items. Some of them for guilds, some of them for Visio, some of them for paid Visio. Meaning that if you want to keep up with the shop refreshes and check on the guild purchases, you have to watch the paid Visio and normal Visio purchases as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you will need to do that because, as I've said, the shop itself is the most reliable way to find shards for the characters you want to level up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Including unique ones, including your limited ones, like, of course, Y'shtola and Thancred. By the way, I have been meaning to ask about this whole Y'shtola thing. I know this is totally off topic, but I have got to know. Does she have voice lines?
She doesn't.
No.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
I was like, which voice actor did they get? Because there was this whole, like, FF14 cast changeover thing. So is it Emily O'Brien or is it Robin Addison, I think her name is?
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Well, it's none of them.
It's none of them because she has no voice lines.
Yeah,
No.
because the event isn't a story event, really.
No.
There aren't even any, none of the in-battle lines are voiced?
No.
Okay.
You have several stages which start pretty normal, but then first you have the two characters of the event, which are uncontrollable NPCs that help you.
Yeah.
So you have Y'shtola going and casting Fallen and conveniently placed a cluster of skeletons.
Yeah.
You get through the stages like that, ending with a very recognizable boss battle, which is the boss you see in the Shadowbringers cutscene.
Which...
Also, the music tracks are from Shadowbringers as well, which is always nice because that's a very good soundtrack.
FF14 has had exemplary music so far. I've been very pleased with the soundtrack. I need to find the multitudes of soundtrack CDs.
Oh, yeah. It's a little light when it comes to being Shadowbringers fan service, but certainly better than the FF14 interversion in FFBE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm enjoying. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a nice little start. I like how they started this out, and they really are playing to all the fan bases because you've got a couple of FFBE favorites that you can pull as 5 stars. You've got Shadowbringers in there right off the bat as an event. Basically, we all get the free Y'shtola because of the pre-registration, and then you've just got the kind of tactics style that we've got. It's nice. Where I can see the game could have issues is because of the grind. The only way I can really see them, really milking it, if so, would be to basically have you be able to just buy all the materials you need to awaken these people. That can be an issue. That's the biggest red flag I'm gonna see is how are they gonna get around this crazy grind to level your characters. And that's probably it, bundles to buy all these materials and just insta level.
Yeah. That's kind of how they do it in Valkyrie and Atomia as well. It's something I haven't really covered because it's recurring without much change, but there's bundles you can get for a lot of things you need to level up your characters. Oh yeah, and I hadn't covered that because even Valkyrie and Atomia is not strictly a paywall. You paid with gems, not paid gems.
Yeah, which is good.
I mean, I haven't used it because my gems are better spent with summons in this game, but yeah. Here we have something that's definitely because the grind isn't impossible or anything, but you really need to accept that things are going to take some time.
Yeah.
And that you're going to have to grind for it.
Yeah. And I'm going to really have to accept that because I'm not going to, I mean, right now I have more time than usual, but pretty soon I'm not going to have much. I mean, sometimes in FFBE, I scramble to finish the daily quests. Like, that's how little time I have. So
yeah,
it's going to be fun.
And like, I have stopped, paused currently my story progression, not because the story is getting too hard. I'm around a respectable level for it. It's because the story at this point is starting to give materials for the next tier of upgrade.
Right.
Meaning that if I want my characters to have the job levels, getting materials that come from the story stages I'm doing, I first need to get them to this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, speaking of which, one thing that I really appreciate, and I don't know if other games have done this, are the skip tickets.
Yeah, that's a feature that already was in Alchemist code, and that's very nice.
Yeah.
Skip
These
tickets.
battles are long, dude. This isn't no FFBE where you clear a stage in a minute, you know?
Yeah.
So even if your characters are powerful. Yeah.
So how this works is that once you have completed all missions of a stage, you have the option to use skip tickets. You say, I want to use 5 skip tickets on this stage, and it gives you the exact rewards, XP, money, and everything you would get for clearing this stage 5 times. It takes the same stamina too. It's basically farming the stage 5 times at the click of a single button instead of actually having to go through the stage, the animation, the loading times, and everything.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so it's a semi-walled auto mode. How do you get skip tickets?
For now, you have some you can get from missions. You have some you can get from paying 10,000 gills, which is nothing in the shop. You get them through mostly free-to-play methods. You get one per day through one of the things that's on the border, which is the royal level. How that works? Yeah, how that works is that it's a tracker that increases, and the more it crosses level thresholds, the more you have advantages, starting with the unlock of the ability to speed up the game, and to have other quality of life elements, and to have bonus drops. And there's 2 ways to increase this tracker. The main way is to play through the games and clear you 10 daily missions. Well, to have you 100 daily mission points, most of the daily missions gives you 10, some give you 20. But on average, it's basically 10 missions, because some don't give you points.
Okay.
Anyway, so you get daily missions, you get through the last words, and you get 10 of those points. Basically, after a month of daily mission, you can get a full level.
A month.
Or you could spend money and get them as a side rewards, the way Exvius points work in FFBE.
Oh. Okay, then.
Yeah, like you had 130 points today, if you check, then that's because you spent the $1 bundle. So that was 100 points.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
That's probably where I'm at then. Yeah.
So that's a progression that's helped by paying, but not strictly paywalled.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I never have a problem with something like that.
That's not terrible. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Whales get their whale stuff, and the rest of us get,
Yeah, it's still, they got to make profit somehow,
Yeah.
I will take that over hard-locking quality of life improvement behind a paywall, even if it's a low one, any day of the week.
Right.
And honestly, I would have probably much more problems with this system if the very first level, which you can get on the first day, after completing the tutorial, didn't already have the speed-up function.
Oh, yeah. I'm at 1.5, baby.
Yeah. And later on, you can get increased speed 2 times the game speed instead of 1.5, but 1.5 is already accelerating your game at an acceptable level for farming.
Okay.
Right. Cool.
So yeah, like, this game overall is a solid video game surrounded by a strange, confusing maze of targeted grinds and possible pays.
Right. Yeah. But so far, it feels like something I'm gonna be able to stick to. I mean, I have thought that about other games, but this one's different. The one that I stuck around for a while was Last Claudia, but what killed me there was their battles were just boring.
Yeah.
Their battle system was terrible. The story was pretty good, but the battling sucked, and the pulling system sucked as well. That one was a huge pay to win. Whereas this one, I feel like, I've already gotten more URs in 3 days than I got in the entire time playing Last Claudia months.
Oh yeah, what have you got as your main rosters or shiny units?
Right. So I luckily only had to reroll 3 times, and yeah, I was able to, and all I wanted was just 1 UR. So that could be why too. I didn't care who it was, and the one I got was Eileen. That was the first one. So she's not bad. She's in my party. And then after you get a little bit with all the currency that you get, I did it, went through that step up, and then I got Ayaka, so that was great. So I was stoked.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong there. And then after I got through the tutorial with those training missions or whatever, you get that 10 plus, and then I got Rob Horn, the king, and he's a samurai. And I don't know if you guys know, but samurai is my absolute favorite job class. So I really don't care that he's not the top tier unit. He's going to be the guy that I focus on.
I'm always going to argue for characters and things that make you smile over top tier every time.
Exactly.
He's a little bit weird looking for a samurai, but he'll do.
It's his kingly demeanor.
Yeah, he's kingly. His cape is really weird, or whatever the heck you want to call that thing he wears. But I'll get behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my end, we will only once, and I'll come back to rerolling because there's some interesting things that are going to be our last topics. But for now, regarding units, I have Mediana. Which is great because she's currently the most sought after unit because her limit break, she can cast it on turn 1, and it's a huge AoE, meaning that you can sometimes just move her, insta-cast the LB, and be done with a stage.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I noticed that.
It's not that she's the most powerful unit for difficult content. It's that she's one of the best units to farm with.
Right.
That's what's highly valued at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have Shiza, which is a monk, thief, dark elemental original to this game. I haven't even met her in the story yet, but she looks cool.
Yeah.
And I have Gilgamesh.
Yes, who is
AKA our dear old Veritas of the Frost is at the spearhead of some global changes. So let's talk about those, because aside from one bit, the global changes haven't exactly been in our favor.
Oh.
So, first, regarding the reroll, they had during the beta stages a very convenient option, which was at the bottom right of the title screen. You just pressed a new game and you had your reroll. No need to file or anything. It was gone for the launch version.
Yeah. Fun.
So that was needlessly annoying.
Right.
Then, when it comes to the Shadowbringers event, you had to randomly pull to get Thancred, or get him through the PT currency by pulling for the FF14 banner, which is only vision card and equipment of sorts.
Okay.
In global, you can get him only through the currency you can farm from the event. And you can guarantee to get him this way. So that's nice.
That's good.
Okay.
But they did a thing with him, which is that compared to other units of the same tier and compared to his Japanese counterpart, he costs, the shards you need to upgrade him costs double the currency.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
There's another thing, another unit that has this kind of exception, and that's Gilgamesh.
Yes,
Gilgamesh
I did know
is,
about him.
for some random reason, not like on the same tier as the other units. He is technically ultra same as the others, but on the release celebration gacha banner, he is half as likely to come out as the other 5-star that, the other ultra rare that shares this banner.
Yeah.
And if you go in the shop and purchase lots of shards for a character, the other characters are like 2,000 Visio for 40 shards. Gilgamesh is 4,000 Visio for 40 shards as well.
But you need double.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks weird too. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to look as weird as he does on the map. Like, I don't know if I like him. I'm just gonna say that.
I don't know either. I have him and I'm using him, and he's very good early on. And,
But
he seems like the kind that would stagnate and ultimately get very powerful. But for now, I mean, it doesn't help either that his shard mission, which is the thing you need to unlock through the story to get to farm his shards 3 times a day, his is the very absolute last one you unlock.
what?
Well,
Why?
that's nice.
So, like, they have this character, which of course I pulled, which is like on a different tier just because he's Veritas of the First and Global is ape about it.
Yeah.
The most worrying thing isn't even about Veritas of the First himself or Gilgamesh himself. No, it is about Thancred himself. It's about this uncertainty at this point about when a new unit comes out, will it be standard rate or double rate? Will it be a special whale bait extra unit or something?
Yeah, that's concerning when you mention that. I mean, they're just going to have these crazy powerful units that...
Yeah, like, I could 100% see them say, well, here is Thunderguard Seed. He costs double because he is Thunderguard Seed.
I mean, let's be honest. He was the most powerful character in Final Fantasy Tactics. I fully assume he's going to be of similar power. Well, excuse me, he's in most cases the most powerful character in Final Fantasy Tactics. There is a way to make Ramza more powerful, but it is a lot of work.
The JP FFT event where Orlando came out already came out, and he is indeed extremely powerful.
Okay.
He is also the same price as any other unit because JP doesn't have these three double cost shards for this or that unit. So that's a very strange thing. And it looks like after having returned to some stability where the only global changes we have in FFBE are essentially buffs or dates of releases moved forward, or good surprises in general. Now we're back to World of Vision and to this old dread of this is global original. Global is a different game, so it's okay if you are being bleeped in the bleep.
Yeah, it sets a weird precedent. The fact that it's the first banner, that's concerning.
Clearly they're in the seeing what they can get away with phase, but that leaves a bad taste in my mouth just right out of the gate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Like, on one hand, it's we're going to show you right away from the very first event what we could do, because we're doing it here and here. So at least you can say you weren't warned. On the other, On the other hand, why are you doing this?
Yeah, why?
Does it make the bake better?
No.
Or does it create this point of discussion that tarnishes what is in a lot of points a very stellar new release?
Yeah. And the weirdest part about it is, like, who's really even hyped for Thancred? Like, does anybody, like, I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard anybody really talk, oh, yeah, man, I can't wait to pull Thancred. Like,
I mean...
Yeah, like, I'm more excited about Y'shtola than Thancred, and Y'shtola is entirely free.
I'm going to be honest. As one of the few huge FF8 fans out there, I am all about getting a Gunblade guy.
oh, okay. Yeah.
I would totally pull for
Gunblade?
Thancred in a heartbeat.
Right.
Oh yeah, but you can get the Gunblade without getting him, and you can equip it on other characters. And by the way, equipped weapons are visible if they're the right class.
Yes.
Like if you have a sword user and you equip them with a sword, the sword skin shows in game.
I mean, that's I don't know. He's actually a gunbreaker. I don't know.
Yeah. Like he has this exclusive Gunbreaker character class, which of course means that if you don't farm all the prerequisites specific to Gunbreaker during the event, you can't ever fully level his Gunbreaker class. So watch out for that.
Yeah.
Same for Y'shtola Sorcerers. It's not the same as your average.
She's what is it, Scion or something? Yeah, she even, like, her fire is not called fire, it's called Scion's fire or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's Y'shtola's, like, weird combination white mage black mage class that I really wish existed at FF14, because that would probably be fun as heck to play.
And by the way, she eventually unlocks white mage and green mage.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, and she even has the black mage ability to teleport to other players, which is very useful in a tactical, as it turns out.
It took me a few... I didn't actually figure that out until yesterday that she could do that. I was like, what is this move?
Yeah, because you have to use the ability and then move. If you move and then use the ability, it does nothing.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm fighting Kokuryu
I
right now.
probably would have been even more confused if I didn't know from playing a black mage in FF14 what ethereal manipulation meant instinctively.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, for me, it looked like it just like it said like has a chance to raise your CP or something like that, and I was like, okay, CT. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. I'll use it if I don't have anything else to do. And then I used it on like a character that was far away from me, and then she went over there. I was like, oh crap, man, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good times. Good times.
Yeah, I'm a fairly recent convert to FF14, so I mean, like, hey, if I see good Scions, I'm happy.
Yeah. Nice.
Which kind of reminds me that Minfilia was about 100 times more useful at FFBE, even as a free unit, than she was in the story of FF14.
Yeah. And it was strange, given that in FF14 she never fought, so they had to get creative to find out ways to...
One of your first missions for her is enhancing her dagger with a materia. Like, why does it... that never comes back into play. I'm going to shut up now. This is going to just lead me to rant mode about Minfilia and how awful she is.
Yeah, no, but that's why in FFBE she's a support character, while in Record Keeper she was a paladin, actually.
Why is she better everywhere that isn't her home game? Never mind. We need to stop talking about this. Move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on to the topic of the day.
Sure.
Yes. Animes and gachas. So, what are our thoughts about having anime collaborations?
Hork.
Pork?
No, hork, as in I'm coughing up like bile.
I like the idea. I like it. Yeah, I think it's cool.
I understand crossovers from a cross-promotion standpoint.
Right.
I understand it from, like, hey, these two games can cross over and get, you know...
I think it's a different exercise, transferring a character from a video game to another video game, than it is to transfer a character from an anime into a video game. There's like another layer of language that you have to apply to make it work, which can lead to some creativity at times.
Right.
I remember in particular for Valkyrie Anatomia, you enjoyed how different and unique Hestia was.
Yeah, she definitely played very differently from other units. I still, like, again, that was part of my whole, like, pull for the community instead of pull for myself thing. I probably never would have bothered pulling for her had I not had members of the community who were really into the character, really into her show. Which brings back to my massive overspending on that game at FFBE eventually. But, yeah, I definitely thought it was a very interesting way of going about it. I definitely, you know, they put in a lot of creativity into that character and making her work in a more turn-based environment.
Yeah, and they have a lot of anime collaboration in Valkyrie Anatomia.
Yeah.
Most of it we don't see yet.
Right.
And I say yet because I'm hopeful.
I'm sure
somehow.
There's a bunch of licensing nonsense.
Yeah.
I want Slayers. I have the Slayers DVD box set still inside. I love Slayers. Lina Inverse is a Slayers character from a 90s anime, not a Dota character, thank you very much.
I've actually, that's one of the few animes I've seen a few episodes of way back in high school, which was 20 years ago, but yeah, I've seen it.
It's a classic.
Yeah, my only thing with the anime thing is that I love the idea, but I know that there's not going to be too many collaborations that I'm going to know because I kind of stopped watching anime like 10 plus years ago as well. FullMetal Alchemist was actually one of the last ones, and I didn't even get that far in. I mean, I probably watched like 7 episodes or something, you know, when it's on Adult Swim at night. So yeah, I would be behind. I mean, give me a Dragon Ball Z collaboration, like, damn, I'll be all over that. But I mean, I hear about other games like My Hero Academia and stuff like that, and I don't know what I've heard of them, but I don't know what that is.
I've kept up with anime a little bit more. I'm not really going ham into it, but I've watched some seasons. I have my classic loves and my more recent loves. And I mean, the funny thing is that if it's a video game character that's getting in a collab, like if you have a 2B that's involved, at the very least, even if you don't land her, even if you're not playing the game the collab is in, at least you can just fire off Automata and play her game.
Yeah.
Right.
If, for instance, there was a Revolutionary Girl Utena collab for a game, knowing that the only Utena video game that exists is a weird visual novel that's only released on Sega Saturn, I know I would instantly be interested because it's a different medium and that's bring back something I didn't expect and that I ideally love.
Right.
Utena is amazing. And it would make sense in a combat-centric game because that's a thing, of course. Not every anime can be adapted. As much as I love, say, Silver Spoon, which is another anime by the author of FullMetal Alchemist, but that's a modern anime that happens in our farming high school. You have the daily life of characters, and
slice of life seems particularly hard to adapt to a combat video game scenario.
Indeed. So not every source material works, but when there's something that's clearly video game inspired, you can't help but wonder what it would look like in an actual video game. How would, especially if they actually talk about the character's ability. I'm thinking of Log Horizon in particular and how I would love to see how this or that game would translate the abilities of Shiwori. There's, in a way, see how they would design this or that character is perhaps even more important than actually getting them and having them be part of a team and having them be this integral part of your strategy.
Yeah. I think that's actually a good point. I mean, I love that they did this collab, but even though I'm not very interested in pulling the characters, just kind of seeing how they would look in this atmosphere and what they would do is what's really cool to me.
Yeah.
I can see that. I don't know. I've always found anime crossovers in particular to be comparatively exploitative because I don't see, like, it's just a matter of getting those fans into the game.
Right.
I don't know. I just always found it a little too cash grabby for me. I guess I'm pretty cynical about it.
I mean, is it really to get them in? I mean,
let's assume it's to get them in. How is that different from a video game collaboration?
Mostly because cross-promotion is far more of a possibility in
I see.
Video games, because you could theoretically, assuming it's a couple of modern gachas crossing over, that sends players both ways. It's less one-sided.
Imagine you have a collaboration with an anime, and in one of the episodes of that anime, say Wayne makes a cameo. Would that be more okay with your moral standards?
A little, yeah.
Interesting.
I gotta be honest, that feels a lot less exploitative. That feels a lot less like, oh, let's do this because it'll just be, like, money. I'm like, okay, sure, do the cross-promotion thing. That actually I would feel slightly more okay about that, I think.
Get on it, anime designers, and don't bring in the teams that adapt video games into anime because 99% of those are terrible.
I've heard good things about the Persona animes.
It's a decent retreading, though the quality isn't always there. I'm mostly thinking about the Atelier Scan Logi anime, which is a thing.
I've also heard very bad things about the Devil May Cry anime.
Oof. Also, I think Bayonetta had an anime adaptation. Was it just a movie or was it a full series?
I have no idea. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
So yeah, I think this collaboration can work and it's interesting in a way, but kind of different from other collaboration, in particular video game collaboration, and perhaps it's that difference that make them so intriguing when they actually come up.
Yeah, I will say from a creative standpoint, from an objective creative standpoint, it does seem very interesting. How do you translate one medium to another, and can you do it properly? It seems less so from where I sit, just because, I mean, again, maybe it's just the whole working in Hollywood thing, but it just feels super one-sided.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's where it happens, and I'm sure counterexamples exist, but I can't think of any of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's as good a point as any to wrap up these topics and this podcast.
I think so. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you, Ryan, for coming back to us. Please come back to us more. We miss you, man.
I will do what I can, and happy birthday to Kite. I know this will drop when it's already past his birthday.
Happy birthday,
sorry
Kite.
That you couldn't actually speak with us, but I've seen you listening in, and I miss you too, Kite. So we'll see you later.
It's past midnight for me, so I can say happy birthday, Kite.
Ah, nice. Bear. All right. I'm going to get the heck out of here. Give me some food, and it's been fun. Thanks for having me back.
Pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more of the games you love to hate. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.